Check this out. One thing that I cannot stand as a dad is for someone to tell me who I am or what I am. But imagine if we as fathers have the opportunity to write our own script.
Be a father to your child.
Hello, my name is Dr. J.L. Adolph, professor and lead vlogger of the Dad Cypher, a hip-hop guide to fatherhood. And I'm here to discuss how black men has revised, or rather remixed, the narrative, or lack thereof, the narrative of urban black fatherhood and the Moynihan. In 1965, politician and sociologist Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote a report entitled The Negro Family, A Call for Action.
That's right, I said it, the Negro Family.
In a sense, he makes the argument that the pathology, and when I say pathology, what that means is the origin of disease. He said the origin of the disease that is impacting the black communities is the weak family structure. That's when I'm like, oh, this doesn't hit right at all. This is not hitting right at all. He's missing a key ingredient to his sauce, and that is the authentic voice of urban fathers. Although I like to wax nostalgic about the golden era of hip-hop of the 1980s and 1990s, but it was quite problematic when we talk about narratives that describe black fatherhood. For instance, only one song during that particular time period really gave an authentic look at black fathering from an authentic black male perspective. And that was Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Five's The Message. In that particular song, it was one of the earliest songs that really featured a father and son dialogue.
My son said, Daddy, I don't want to go to school because the teacher's a jerk. He must think I'm a fool.
And in that particular song, the father is recalling the conversation that he's having with his son, where his son is really questioning the importance of school. And he's looking at the education that he is receiving is keeping him locked within his social position. And so the song talks about unemployment, poverty, crime. And it's all linked to redlining, where we have groups of marginalized communities all compacted together. And that particular concentration of black poverty and bleakness has led to a sort of absence of vision when it comes to black males. It's a sort of invisibility that is taking place as all of these communities of color are locked in one space, which is called a concrete jungle, in which the larger mainstream society can just largely ignore. The son talks about, and it's really kind of a painful retelling when he says that he doesn't really see much hope for his future because he lives in an environment where there is no diversity of thought or vision. Matter of fact, he lives in this hyper ghetto, and because these areas are marginalized and it is filled with crime and violence and largely ignored by the powers that be, many of the youth do not, in a sense, or have a harder time gaining access to really positive black male role models. And we also got to think, in the time of the 1980s and 90s, we're dealing with Reaganomics and the mass incarceration of black men. Also, we're dealing with deindustrialization, which means that a lot of the jobs that was used to provide, where a man with just a high school diploma could provide for his family, have been outsourced. And so what you find is these sort of economic deserts that's taking place in these communities. And not to mention, the light that lights up this whole gasoline-filled situation is the crack epidemic that took place. So what we see in this particular song by The Message, he talks about it really through a father and son conversation. We see how these social factors that are de-emphasized in the Moynihan Report are impacting the family structure, as opposed to the family structure itself just being dissolved because of lack of personal responsibility and one's inability to assert their manhood.